Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it.
What we saw in the release of the records, which I'm afraid, I think, in the media or legacy media, there was kind of a willful blindness. They didn't want to look at the records. All you had to do was spend a couple of hours. I found these records, which are talking about blackmail by China. It was for President Biden.
What a great weekend. President Trump surprised the press again by sharing his desire for a 4th term. Memes were dropped by him on Sunday. A lot of them. We're going to get into those. Story encouraging all of us to watch the show about to be unleashed with a very proud thought for you, telling us that we trusted the plan. Almost like we're at the end of it, huh? What a journey. What a weekend. Lots to cover. 514,000 folks. We finally made it to 514 on Rumble, our go-to for free speech. And of course, thanks to you, we're at number 3 on the leaderboard with our videos right next to Dan Bongino and a guy named Crowder. And I just wanted to show you this real quick. Here we go.
Our new And We Know bracelets connect you with scripture with just the tap of your phone. Simply tap your phone to the bracelet, click the pop-up, and there's a new verse every time. If you're feeling anxious, need to pray, or just want to see what God has for you in the moment, you can tap for a verse and pray over that situation. Now available online.
And you can go to andweknow.com. Our brand new website is done, up, and ready. We hope you're checking it out. There is a wonderful surprise. Many of you found it already, and you'll see that announcement there when you go. Also, if you want to send pictures in to us, Patriot Showcase, that's at Get Involved, Patriot Showcase. All you have to do is hit submit a photo, and you will make it eventually on one of our videos for Patriots wearing our gear.
I'm pleased to announce my intention to, and this is somewhat of a scoop, my intention to run for a 4th term as President of the United States. I will be doing that. I will be having an official, in fact, I think I have. I won 3 times. Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it.
So that with the music was put together by Il Donato Trumpo, the burner account for President Trump. He's just letting you know. Over and over again, 4th term. Everybody thinks that it's a joke. A lot of folks out there, but I don't know. It keeps bringing it up over and over again. What do you guys think? And, of course, give the enemy nightmares. President Trump put that out as he's walking through the woods, and it looks like the military's behind him, and they're going after the bad guys, and it says Trump 2028 right there below. In other words, we're going to keep this thing moving. And he also released another portrait of himself wearing a Trump 2028 hat, and somebody put this video clip together. I believe it was Santa surfing on one of the drops that he put out. And you can see President Trump once again just trying to remind the folks once again how this is playing out. And so, of course, the interesting part about President Trump delivering his remarks to the press on July 24, 2026, it's clear on what happened on that night, July 24th, Delta. DC Lidstone found this one. On July 24th, 2018, you are watching the systematic destruction of the old guard. Power will return to the people.
While I have all of the press here in one place. I have to say that we're having an amazing load of accomplishments that the media never talks about. For example, under my administration, a once feared and powerful regime that relentlessly attacked America has finally been toppled. Their former leaders have been removed, and they're now being run by a gay dictator facing internal divisions. But I, for one, wish Barry Weiss all the best at CBS News. She's a wonderful woman.
Yeah. And they were sitting there the whole time, this press, they're a lot of them CIA agents, hatred of this country, hatred of America, and what President Trump is doing to save our nation. They can't stand it. They like the world to just be in one little package for the New World Order so they can destroy it all. And he was right there in their face. If you guys missed it, you should go check it out. There's some uncomfortable parts for some, but I tell you what, they deserve it the way that they've been treating him for so long. Now, I wanted to show you Catherine Herridge, but first, I wanted to show you this drop here. President Trump put out Plan Trusted. And he's basically in a spotlight. It's as if he's letting us know you trusted the plan. Thank you very much. And I saw this clip. It was dropped for all to see.
A few days ago, the Department of War Chief Technology Officer posted this: trust the plan. And then asked the question, are you trusting the plan, Patriot? And I thought, what a golden opportunity to actually discuss what the plan is, because I think there's a lot of confusion about what the plan is. Now, TDS doomers will use this often to make fun of it and say, trust the plan, Patriot. They don't know what the plan is. They've never asked what the plan is. They have no interest in knowing what the plan is. So I wanted to clarify for you what the plan is, because that's a good place to start as we continue this journey. What's the plan? Well, it was given to us in plain sight. On January 20th, 2017, newly elected and sworn in President Donald J. Trump, and the Commander-in-Chief, gave his inaugural speech on the Capitol steps. And in that inaugural speech, for a very brief moment in time, 12 military JAG and intelligence officers lined up behind him for a very specific proclamation. Now, you can go search it. Never has there ever been military officers, let alone military JAG and intelligence officers, lined up behind a president during their inaugural speech. Has never happened. Go check it out. You'll never see it. But they did this time. That alone should have grabbed your attention, okay? And in that moment, he says something, and that should solidify all of this for you. He says, we are here to take power from Washington, D.C., and give it back to you, the people. And when he said we, he meant him and the military. 45-47 is a military operation. It always has been from that moment on. And I would say before, because who ordered the military intelligence JAG and intelligence officers to line up behind him? It wasn't Obama, that's for sure. So what is the plan? He said it. We are giving power back to you, the people. We are the plan. We are it. The American citizens are the plan. They're only going to go as fast as we go. They're only going to do what we ask to be done. If the military is going to follow the Constitution, which is their sworn oath, if the President of the United States is going to follow the Constitution, which is his sworn oath, then they can only operate at the will of the American people. So why is this taking so long? Because for 11 years, we've bickered back and forth with each other over nonsensical things instead of keeping our eye on what needed to be done. Now, a lot of good things have happened, but there's a lot more work to do. And the enemy is trying to use propaganda to divide us. Don't fall for it. We are the plan. Unite, get ready. We take the power back as we want. See you on the next one.
Part of the moves being made, of course, would be President Trump again putting out panic in D.C. And there it is with the storm and the lightning behind it. Part of the storm that's playing out for all to see is the ODNI, the Director of National Intelligence, completing his fourth round of layoffs under acting DNI Bill Pulte.
They are now out of a job. Their firings, which they were informed about just yesterday, are part of an effort ushered in by the new acting Director of National Intelligence, Bill Pulte. An intelligence official who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the potential for reprisal told MS Now these officials are being dismissed because leadership believes that they have withheld intelligence. That allegation, one former official refers to as, quote, absurd.
Good.
It comes as former special counsel Jack Smith. They are now out.
Oh, yeah. Of course, they brought Jack Smith in to talk. The cuts are part of a plan to shrink the agency. Refocus on national security. The deep state cleanup continues. Oh, yes, it does. President Trump, a couple more memes wanted to show you. Right here, President Trump and Washington, a time travel epic. It looks like a movie poster. The past was about to change. History was about to be saved. And you got that clock in the backdrop there. Oh, man. That is amazing. Whoever put that together. Kudos to you. And also, he has a picture with them standing with JFK in front of the White House. There was a plan. President Trump is finishing off what was started, and that's what we believe, and that's how it's playing out for all to see. I'm going to get to Catherine Herridge in a moment. First, I want to show you this. Friends, let me ask you something. How long have you been trying to get healthy without really knowing what's going on inside your body? You've seen doctors, you followed advice, you may have tried diets or supplements that sounded right, but nothing really changed because you were still guessing. That's why my family and I work with Dr. Kelly Shockley. She doesn't guess, she tests.
One of the biggest ones that I didn't even know I had needed a win, and that is that I have stopped a dependency on melatonin after 10 years use, and in order to sleep. A lot of good results, but to stop that 10-year addiction has been just life-changing.
Dr. Kelly stepped outside the traditional medical system so she could do what the system simply doesn't allow. Look deeper, ask better questions, and get real answers.
And with complete and proper testing, and then actually interpreting those results differently than what the rest of the medical world does, we can find the why behind your diagnosis or the symptoms you're experiencing now that you didn't used to.
Through advanced testing, she uncovers what's actually driving symptoms: toxins, nutrient deficiencies, inflammation, stress patterns, the things you simply can't see without data. When we went through testing, she identified issues I had never even mentioned, things I didn't know were connected. That's when I realized how much I was guessing. This isn't cookie cutter care. It's not trend chasing. It's stewardship. God designed your body to heal, but you have to know what it needs. Testing lights the way. Go to corehealthadvantage.com/AUK, learn how testing works, and decide if it's time to finally get real answers. It's in the description box below, including a link to our latest interview. You'll love it. Click on that link today.
What we saw in the release of the records, which I'm afraid, I think in the media or legacy media, there was kind of a willful blindness. They didn't want to look at the records. All you had to do was spend a couple of hours. I found these records, which are talking about blackmail by China. It was for President Biden's daily brief. I can conclude, I think, that it was probably about targeting his family. When that kind of information is not reaching a decision maker, ultimately the United States and the American people are the losers.
Right.
And I think that's what people need to be focused on.
Well, it's dangerous as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not getting into it.
So this is wild. So in these documents she's holding right here, we're being told is information and evidence that the Biden family is being blackmailed by China. This is something that we all thought was happening, but now there seems to be proof. Now we're not being told what the proof is, but she's saying that it is there, and I'm sure it will be released. So we can speculate a little bit. I found a clip that I shared a while back, and I think that we'll just revisit it right now. Here it is. And this is on CNN, and what they're saying right here is that the Biden family admitted in court that they were being paid off by Chinese companies. So I think it's worth listening to this after what we just listened to in that previous video.
And Kristen, Glenn Kessler from the Washington Post had a fact check about Joe Biden from earlier this month, noting that Hunter Biden admitted in court in July that he was in fact paid substantial sums from Chinese companies. Kessler wrote, Hunter Biden reported nearly $2.4 million in income in 2017 and $2.2 million in income in 2018, most of which came from Chinese or Ukrainian interests. But
So right there, let me just stop it right there. So right here, the Biden family is being paid millions year after year from China. I mean, It doesn't get any clearer than this.
Who else is getting paid out there? Oh, Ilhan Omar's sister, Sarah Noor, Noor, incorporated her $20 million USAID company at the same address used by major Feeding Our Future convicts, the largest fraud in Minnesota history. Daily Wire's Luke Rosiak, the Hyacinth Avenue address belonged to Ister Afra, who worked directly with Sarah Noor, fake catering scheme, ran a company with Hannah American, $7 million guilty plea, and created 2 more companies listing Amy Bach as contact. Homeowner says he never heard of any of them, claims a scammer used his address. Omar still refuses to cooperate with investigators. The GOP and DOJ keep letting her skate. Thank you, Grandpa's free advice for that.
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Yeah. She's going to get looked at. President Trump said this, and I'm going to read what Ilhan Omar, how she responded on X to it. If you can see your screen, you already see it.
Between California's policies of enabling wildfires, paying drug addicts to be homeless, giving free sex changes to illegals, and telling rich people they're going to take away, all of your money is going to be taken away. People are fleeing, and they're fleeing in droves. We can't have that in this country. It's becoming such a horrible and dangerous location that Ilhan Omar, one of my favorites, and her brother are thinking about moving together, very much in love. The video has surfaced recently of Ilhan giving a speech referring to World War II as World War XI. And they asked her about that. She thought she got it right. But I'm not surprised, because she's a low IQ person. And she's also a very dishonest person. And she ought to get the hell out of our country. She shouldn't be here. She shouldn't be in our country. She also calls her brother husband number 1. Omar is reportedly being investigated for fraud. She revised her net worth. I was shocked to see that she was worth much more than $30 million. And then when the press got on her, she revised it slightly downward to less than 18,000. So she went from much more than 30 million to 18,000.
Oh, you know, the press is livid. Ilhan Omar, of course, responded the way she normally does. She called President Trump an idiot. She said, the idiot who runs our country says this, but doesn't have the courage or evidence to come after me. Oh, he has the evidence. He's got the courage. He's just milking it so that folks will wake up one day at a time. She then proceeds to say that this should tell you how low IQ he is. Oh, yeah. Go after his IQ, huh? This guy who built an empire with $1 million got to billion. Mm-hmm. She said Trump is who needs to get the blank out of our country because he is destroying it and making us the laughingstock of the world. No. He's making you the laughingstock of the world. And you know it. But no matter what, they will, even to the point where they get arrested and put away, even to the point where committing treason brings to it some serious consequences, they'll scream to the very end. So, Mike Lee said, Leader John Thune, I hereby object to any effort to put the Senate into recess in August, at least until such time as the Senate has passed the Save America Act, and hereby request a roll call vote. Do not assume you have my consent. It's huge. Gunnar Ellerman says Senator Mike Lee's forcing a roll call vote. Every single senator will have to go on the record for taking a 37-day paid vacation while the rest of America is in the fight. 37 days. No more hiding. No more quiet escapes. No more we deserve a break. We need answers. President Trump, the all-Republican senators, terminate the filibuster, which the Democrats will do as soon as they get the chance. Pass the Save America Act. Everything else, including the budget and upcoming debt ceiling, do it now before it's too late. And I'll tell you what, Larry Kudlow rips the Senate GOP leadership to Senator Langford's face.
I'm sorry you had to bear the brunt of that opening, but I'm telling you, right now, you, the leadership in both houses, are bungling everything, sir. I say that with all due respect, and we are personal friends. It's not, but you're bungling everything. Nothing is getting done. Your messaging is non-existent. You've lost your swag, your swagger, your riz, or whatever the young people say. No one knows what the heck you're doing, sir. They had no idea.
Yeah, you're welcome. And this is part of the challenge we've got with all of our media friends out there that continue to be able to beat up on Republicans and say Republicans are all the problem. But apparently the socialist Democrats in New York City, they seem to be perfect because most conservative media right now is beating up on Republicans and just ignoring the socialists who are running rampant all over the country. So I look back on what happened with the One Big Beautiful Bill. I look at the housing bill we just passed. There's a lot of things that are going on that are good, and I understand.
Nobody has attacked Mondami more than I have, for heaven's sake. That isn't the point.
I wasn't saying that just about you. I was saying
that isn't the point.
This is the challenge that we're up against right now.
What is it that your policy is? Senator Langford, my friend, what is your policy? Where are the tax cuts? Where are the spending cuts? Where's the waste, fraud, and corruption reduction? Where is all of that? Where is the reconciliation bill? Where's the straight talk and messaging for the midterm? Where's the growth messaging? Where's the we're going to make it better for taxpayers and working folks messaging? Come on, Senator.
Glad to be able to take it on, Larry. Glad, and again, you and I are friends. We've talked through all this stuff before. So let's just start with last year and what's coming out right now on all the tax policy. Obviously, tax rates didn't go up.
Yada, yada, yada. President Trump posted this. Wearing the Dr. Trump outfit. Holding the spine. He said, you see this spine? This is what I want to put back in Republicans. He's had enough.
John Thune has suggested that if the White House thinks that there are votes to pass the Save America Act, you should be picking up the phone. I'm with the Washington Examiner, sir. Could you be doing more to help that legislation pass?
Well, I do more. I got 3 congressmen, maybe 4, to settle, to send it to the Senate. We got the vote, as you know, in Congress. I got a call from Mike Johnson, who's fantastic. He's a fantastic speaker, one of the best I've ever seen, and I think he's going to go down as one of the best. He called. He said, we have problems with 3 or 4 people. Could you call them? I called them. Every one of them, after I called them, voted, and we got it passed up to the Senate. And I'd certainly be willing. I mean, he's got 4 or 5 people that are very difficult. A couple of them I put out of office, so I understand how it feels. I mean, they're doing the wrong thing. Look, who cannot approve voter ID? Who cannot approve proof of citizenship? Who cannot approve funding military when you're winning a war? And what are you supposed to do? Stop fighting? We're winning a war by a lot.
So interesting. Where is John Thune? President Trump put this out. Recess appointments. President Reagan had 240. President Bush, the first President Bush, had 77 recess appointments. Bush, the second one, had 171. President Trump, 0. 0 recess appointments. Where is John Thune?
Maybe take a few extra days. Look, I mean no disrespect. I love John Thune. He's my leader. He's got a big brain. He's better looking than me. But I think he's just being too cautious. He wants to spend the rest of our time talking with Senator Schumer about shutting down government. And the Graham-Plattner wing of the party his party's not going to let Schumer agree with us. They already want to give Schumer a bathrobe, a popsicle, and an early bedtime and have him retire. I don't think Chuck can agree with us.
I
think he's going to shut down government.
I want to go back. You just said you wanted to move forward on what the House just started the process on. That would be a party
Yes,
line.
ma'am.
That would be a party line vote. That would be Republicans jamming this
Yes, ma'am.
thing through. And the SAVE Act,
Yes,
as
ma'am.
you know, or even some version of it, is highly partisan, highly controversial. Bigger picture. Isn't
Yes,
it
ma'am.
going to hurt faith in our election process if a Republican-only policy to change how elections are run is rammed through 100 days?
Yeah, well, we have a Democrat policy that's been rammed through the country for decades. They always seem to get what they wanted, and we're still fighting to get these rhinos to do their work that they're supposed to be doing. Fourth senator joins the fight. Ashley Moody says no recess until Save America Act passes. Mike Lee, Rick Scott, Jim Banks, Ashley Moody.
Both simultaneously be back into session in the Capitol until, wait for it, September 14th. Mid-September. This is the last week, absent some change in the respective chambers' meeting schedule. The last legislative week until mid-September, which will take us to just, what is that, 6 weeks before the November election? That is unacceptable. We don't have a lack of time, Mr. President. We have a lack of spine. Don't ever confuse lack of time with lack of spine, because they're two very different things. If we truly lacked time, that would be one thing. We've got time. We're just choosing not to use it. We're choosing to use it differently, and I would add very poorly if we don't take this up. Take it up now and stay on the bill until it darn well passes. The Senate should stay here tomorrow, this weekend, next week, through weekends and long scheduled recesses, as long as it takes. If opponents want to block it, let them do so in public. If Democrats want to filibuster this bill, let them stand and speak like actual senators, actually filibustering, because that's what filibustering is. And if they don't show up to do that, then we call the question. We call the vote, and we do so at a simple majority, because that's what our rules allow us to do with votes when they don't filibuster. But you can't have the benefit of filibustering if you're not willing to filibuster.
Save America Act. I love that title. Means so much more when Homeland Security tells us that 75,000 non-citizens are called for jury duty in New Jersey every year. Based on data from 3 state government agencies, including the Motor Vehicle Commission, a stunning figure that widens the scope of growing controversy over government databases that may incorrectly identify non-citizens as eligible voters and jurors. Folks, they'll do anything, the Democrats, to win. They've been doing it for a long time. They seem to always figure out, I'm sure they go to their headquarters run by Satan, and he tells them exactly how to play this game, and always thinking that they're going to have victory. We're looking forward to them finally getting pummeled. Especially when you have people like the Democrat mayor and vice mayor of Sacramento, California, caught on a hot mic during a city meeting discussing how to ban people for quote-unquote disruptive speech.
We should go over this disruptions thing, because if we want to ban somebody in the future, like to actually take them out, you have to point out and specifically say who's being banned.
We can't do that. Can't. So, I spent my first 6 months going into this. I wanted to give people like probation. Like, you can't come.
Oh, and she found the hot mic. You see that?
Can't come.
Oh no. Oh no, they can hear me. You see that? Oh no. Vice Mayor, Karina Talamantes. We should go over this disruption thing, because if we want to ban somebody in the future, like to actually take them out, we have to point out specifically. Mayor Kevin McCarty, I know, but the city attorney said we can't do that. Talamantes, we did it last time. Democrats want to take away your free speech.
And it's traditional that at least 1 or 2 potential presidential hopefuls attend the correspondence dinner, but many of them seem to have really chickened out. I was disappointed that Gavin Newsom didn't show up. he didn't show up. He should be here. But I heard that he recently said that we will lose our country if we don't fight fire with fire. And to be fair, there's only one thing we know about Gavin, and that's that he definitely doesn't want to fight fire with water. He's got a lot of water, never uses. What a disaster. That should have never happened.
Pointing out to their faces those of the press, the members of the press who worship the ground that Newsom walks on. And you hardly hear any laughter at all as President Trump continues to call them out, California. And there was a movie, small movie put together showing California, their leadership, just like back in Rome, right? Their satanic worship displayed in this AI movie. I'll show to you in a moment. Hang in there. New Spring Wellness Center. Your all-natural one-stop shop for optimal brain health and overall wellness. They're out of Osage Beach, Lake of the Ozarks. Folks, I've been there twice now. You can reach out to Chad and Katie Burrow for support. Are you a loved one or a loved one struggling with addiction? At New Spring Wellness Center, they offer a proven outpatient program that addresses addiction recovery like no other. Their brain restoration program is designed to restore your health, eliminate cravings, and help you achieve lasting recovery. Folks, I have witnessed it for myself. The changes in people who had addictions. They have faith-based support, IV therapy. They have prayer and so much more. John N. said he had alcohol and brain fog. He said, I came to New Spring Wellness for alcohol and brain fog, something I've struggled with for over 30 years. I tried AA before, but this treatment was unique, different than anything else, and it offered a better outcome for me. My head feels so much clearer. My faith has deepened. I've made new friendships, and I have no desire for alcohol, completely different than just 2 weeks ago. Around day 5, I started to feel a real change. There's truly no comparison. I feel renewed. The people here are friendly, professional, and knowledgeable. The patient care is excellent. I'd absolutely recommend this to anyone. Amber was addicted to Xanax for 15 years before coming to New Spring Wellness. Tried the inpatient and outpatient programs, counseling, AA. I came to New Spring to ease withdrawal symptoms in a stress-free environment and to begin repairing my neural pathways. A family member who works in recovery told me about it. Almost instantly, my withdrawal symptoms eased, and I finally had time to focus on myself, surrounded by caring individuals. The emotional support and brain restoration formula made a real difference. By days 2 to 4, I had more energy and better focus. Folks, I've talked to people there, prayed with folks that have come through this program. It will change your life. Go in the description box below and click on that link to change your life or others forever.
No, please don't do this. You don't have to do this. Please, I just want to be able to afford a tank of gas so I can drive to work and feed my family.
He just wants some gas. You can have all the gas you want. But first, you must defeat the California machine.
Please, I have young kids. All I'm asking for is a reasonable cost of living, nothing else.
The machine doesn't give a damn about you and your family.
Uh-oh. Another wildfire.
Please don't do this to me. I'm a nurse. Me and my husband just want to buy a home together.
A home? In this economy? Everyone can own a home, but only once they get past the machine. Enough is enough. You shouldn't have to fight for your life just to fill your tank, keep the lights on, and put a roof over your family's head. We don't have to live like this. Enough is enough.
Interesting choice of words, huh? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Election time. This is not a joke. Republicans lead in the first ever poll for New Mexico governor. That's right. Greg Hull, 45%. +1 over Deb Haaland. If Hall defeats Haaland, it would be the biggest upset of the 2026 midterms. You can see the polling average and race forecast. Polls Max McLaughlin Associates they put that out. Now let's get into more of this fraud happening in our country.
Right now, the big controversy is with Tim Walz and his government and the fraud that they've allowed to happen within the Somalian community. Right behind us is Cedar Riverside, a location where it is very densely populated with Somalians. How have Somalians gotten into the system to fraud the American taxpayer?
Well, so that complex you're seeing behind there, I attended the University of Minnesota, and in the area we're on right now, this is the West Bank, and it was always called the West Bank, and it was sort of the place to be when you're in college, and that was all student housing, 100%. That building you see in the background, it's now 100% Somali. And I can tell you confidently, they don't pay for their housing, they don't pay for their food, they don't pay for their vehicles, and on top of that, they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fraudulent companies set up, and they're sucking billions of dollars out of the state of Minnesota.
And how are they sucking billions of dollars out of the state of Minnesota?
Well, one example would be with the hundreds of child care facilities that they have set up. And on every one that I visited, and I've been to maybe 100 of them or more, I never, ever have seen one child at any facilities ever over the past 7 years, 8 years.
Oh, yeah. So we saw this. Biden's final days memo just dropped. They plan to expand TPS over 3 million non-citizens, specifically to block Trump's deportations and bury his admin in years of lawsuits. Abe Hamada said this should be one of the biggest scandals of the century. Our former president, who we all know was not calling the shots, was planning on making his illegal alien crisis even worse to sabotage President Trump. President Trump put this out, another meme I'm going to show you, the man who saved America. And he's got his picture back when he served in uniform. And I tell you what, then he became a millionaire to a billionaire and, of course, became the president of the United States. He didn't have to. He could have hid out and said, you know what, I'm going to take my money, get my family, we're getting out of here. Instead, he said, nope, we're going to serve this country and do the best I can with the time that I have left for children and our children's children. By no means, again, I'll remind those that might be new, we don't worship President Trump. Some people assume that, oh, you guys just worship him, that's why you show him all the time. No, I just say if it wasn't for President Trump, we wouldn't be having these discussions today, and he wouldn't have been able to, without him, we wouldn't be able to have the entire plan move forward because he needed somebody that we would all vote for. And he was the perfect selection for this time in our history. He put these out also just to show you some of the losers. Kimmel, Fallon, and Colbert, I think is how you say his name. Talentless, but not funny. Ex-comedians need money. They're sitting on the streets. Late night is over. Also, you've got TDS Forever. My dearest Donald writing a letter, of course. You've got so many others that are getting caught. Massive corruption exposed in Hawaii. Hawaii's Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke, Democrat, indicted on charges of criminal conspiracy to commit bribery and falsifying reports. The charges stem from a bribe she allegedly received from a lobbyist to grant a COVID contract. Also indicted, former state rep Ryan Yamane, Ford Fujiyami, Hawaii Transportation Department official Leo Asuncion, former official for Hawaii's Public Utilities Commission, lobbyist Toby Solidum. The party of fraud and corruption, folks, they're getting caught. It's happening one at a time. War correspondent put this out. I thought we could be getting close in the past, but right now I'm feeling it. Something big is coming, not just because Trump's administration is Q posting, but because of the moves being made and the way they talk. They aren't playing politics. They are on a mission. This is not business as usual. Trump's administration isn't just Q posting. They post like Anons, not in a mocking way, but like they're one of us. The Department of War posted, trust the plan. That's a Q quote. The plan is a military operation. Those two dots connect themselves. Trump isn't controlled, and Operation Trust doesn't even make sense. It's nothing divide and conquer tactics. Honestly, with all the stuff that anonymous folks, Anons, have been right about, including the elite pedo club over the years, you really think Anons could be fooled by the cabal for a decade? You know that scene in The Matrix where Cypher says, I don't even see the code? That's how I am with propaganda and narratives. The past decade has been a huge buildup. Something is going to pop off, and it's not looking good for the deep state. As a matter of fact, President Trump had some other memes. Guardians of the World, Iran, USA, is in the background. USA has got their fighters flying over and dropping bombs on them. Joe Lang said, anybody catch this? Trump posts 3 times using the word Guardian, and then posts a movie poster of him saving the country in a time travel epic. But in between, he posted Panic in DC. Anybody remember the Q drop with 3 movies playing at the same time? There it is on your screen. FISAgate, Panic in DC, and Guardians of the Pedos, the pedophiles, right? All 3 movies playing simultaneously. Do you find it interesting that everything discussed in the past is somehow making news as of late? Is Trump telling us that the 3rd movie is about to begin? Are the big political figures connected to child trafficking about to be exposed publicly? Is declassified evidence about to drop on the pedos in our government? Clintons, the Obamas, Adam Schiff, Q drop 123, anonymous. Nothing is random. Everything has meaning. I don't think what Trump is posting is random. Are all 3 movies about to be playing at the same time? What do you guys think? Just on the side note, wanted to show you this. Liz Churchill said, beyond terrible, the government is forcing the Amish community, the healthiest unvaxxed control group left on earth, to take the vaccines because nothing threatens the narrative like living proof that you don't need them. Hopefully this goes to the Supreme Court and the battle will be won, because I tell you what, that's one big fight and they're going after them. Most egregious thing. Now, cures for cancer, ivermectin. Study on ivermectin, folks. Florida has got this one.
It's so important. So that's one of the components of this first round of grants that are going out. And then the second portion of this, and honestly, I've had so many people come up to me and talk about this, and that is the generic drug repurposing component of this grant. And so that's specifically for things like ivermectin. So I know that that's been in the news quite a bit. It made a lot of news during COVID. Mel Gibson was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about people that he was friends with, and they overcame stage 4 cancer. And so here's like my perspective, and I've talked to the Surgeon General about this. Like, that's generic form. I think it costs like 77 cents per pill. Is there any incentive on the part of some to want to research this when you're not guaranteed to have a big ROI, right? If you have a novel technology or a pharmaceutical and you have that monopoly and that competitive edge, well, then you're probably going to make a lot more money. If you're researching like something like ivermectin that's generic, are you going to be able to, find a study that you can get the money to be able to fund it, but are you guaranteed revenue for your company going down in the future? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that we should look at it. We should look at the benefits of it. We shouldn't just speculate and guess. We should, as the state of Florida, with over $1 billion in funding since Ron DeSantis took office for cancer, we should be looking into things that are in generic form. And do they show outcomes? And do they show hope for people who are suffering? And we're uniquely positioned to do that because we're not in it for an ROI from a corporate standpoint. We're in it for an ROI on behalf of you, the taxpayer, and you who has a family member who's suffering from cancer, and God forbid that you suffer from cancer. And so that's why I think we're uniquely positioned to be able to help people. And I'm just, honestly, I don't like talking about cancer ever. I told Dr. Panetta on more than one occasion I'd rather sit in my closet and never say the cancer word again. But I am so immensely proud of what this state has done to really step up, to try to provide hope to a lot of people, to invest in meaningful things. It's one thing to appropriate money, but it's another thing to drive outcomes, to hold yourself accountable, and to try to incentivize prevention and better treatment.
Ivermectin. Who'd ever thought it'd be making waves throughout all of our communities and more? We've been learning quite a bit, about our health. We've also been learning about healthy ways of investing, especially in precious metals. We had a video drop Saturday. Precious metals hold key support levels. Silver has solid support zone. And it seems like things are going to be moving forward as we got into this with Dr. Kirk Elliott. I mean, he shared some amazing facts. Here's a clip from that.
Trading for a living, making money on these small things, right? I'm an investor where you buy, you don't hold forever, but you follow and identify the trend. So always look at the fundamentals, look at the supply and demand. To me, this is where the markets are headed, is the narrative is shifting fundamentally to, let's stop listening to this noise about interest rates and inflationary pressures, which is what we're seeing right now. I mean, I think it was Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, this morning thinks oil's probably going to hit $128 a barrel. Right? It's like, that's inflationary, right? And so, but yet what's happening fundamentally is people's perception is starting to turn into reality. And people's perception is, maybe this conflict goes on for another 5 years. Maybe this doesn't end next week or tomorrow or next month. What if this goes on for years and years and years? See, then the fundamentals actually matter. Is the supply and demand part of it actually still intact? Well,
and of course, he gets into that and shows the double dip that you see on your screen. And I tell you what's phenomenal information. amweknow.com/gold. Below this video, you click on that. You can reach out to him, have conversations like I have with somebody on his staff, and they will walk you through it in getting precious metals, especially if you have an IRA and you want to move that in and out of the fiat currency. Now, look at this here. Remember the Smithsonian we talked about last week?
President Trump orders disclaimers be placed at the Smithsonian, warning visitors that the museum is not telling accurate history. The president signed an executive order Friday to supplement a previous directive seeking to restore trust in the National History Museum. Well, that order says that a recent investigation found that Smithsonian leadership does not present American history as a shared inheritance to celebrate, but instead as a tool to advance a radical transformation of society. The order requires temporary signage to be put up informing visitors of the investigation's report. It also warns the Smithsonian that inaccurate displays need to be fixed.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that great? Walked up to the Smithsonian and kids are getting ready to go in from their school project, whatever, and this says, that big sign, hey, guys, just want to let you know you've been lied to. That won't be in those kind of words, but there's a bunch of liars in here. They're not telling you your true history. Oh, one day at a time. We keep learning so much more. Minnesota's handing out taxpayer-funded trans dolls in classrooms. The paper models, which feature removable genitalia, are aimed at gender-diverse children as young as 4. Just want to make sure you know what's going on there. Also, Homeland Security released this criminal on your screen, a former NFL linebacker, has been deported after he broke our laws. Daniel Ogama Adongo from Kenya has a criminal record in the United States that includes arrests for criminal mischief with damage, felony intimidation, battery, and disorderly conduct. Our communities are safer now that this criminal is out of the country. Also, a Marxist Democrat Minnesota judge, continuing in Minnesota, Judge Nancy Brazel just sentenced another thieving Somali Feed Our Future fraudster, Zamzam Jama, who stole $5.6 million to only get 6 months in prison. This came one day after she gave another thieving Somali fraudster just 1 year in prison, another slap on the wrist after stealing millions from hardworking taxpayers.
Where there is danger in this country is because we fail to incarcerate repeat violent offenders. And that's, the classic sort of Soros DA or judges that fail to incarcerate repeat violent offenders. And if somebody gets arrested 50 times, literally, for violent crimes, and eventually they're going to kill somebody. So you either incarcerate them or people will die.
I think the prevalence of
Remember, that was his talk with the economist, and we had that great video go out and just showing you over and over again how he obliterated this. This lady, just sitting on her tower, never sees anything wrong around her. Well, we see things going wrong in Texas all the time. Muslim social studies teacher in Texas says that villainizing Islam in American schools isn't going to work. She says Islam will take over America as the dominant religion.
Islam is the fastest growing religion in Texas, the United States, and in the world. My name is Inshira Dahir. I am a history major and a proud Palestinian American Muslim social studies teacher in Texas. I've taught elementary through high school students for almost 15 years. These children cannot yet distinguish a fact from an opinion, and we want to dump Al-Qaeda on fourth graders. Before you teach a child about falsehoods, you have to teach them how to think. And I'm going to say this straight up. The more you try to suppress and villainize Islam in the classroom, the more you are doing Islam a favor. Because right now, today on the ground, Islam is the fastest growing religion in Texas, the United States, and in the world. Suppression doesn't shrink a faith, it spreads it. And you are proving that in real time. I want to end with a dua. Oh Allah, make us among those who speak the truth and bear witness with justice. Ameen.
Point of order. What's your point of order? It wasn't germane to the topic posted. I believe the time's expired. Member Hall? Yes, the last testifier. Yeah, it's not mentioned for any. You said it was for a political agenda that Al Qaeda is mentioned there. It's mentioned because Al Qaeda killed 3,000 Americans on 9/11, and many of our veterans, including.
So, just want to make sure you guys saw that. And this one also wanted to show you, if you're looking at your screen.
Imagine every kid walking into this building to learn a new surah and to learn how to pray for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum. We are here at 153 Park Street, Montclair, New Jersey. And we just signed the contract to purchase this building.
Purchase a building. And they purposely put right behind him the cross. They're excited because they purchased a building that was used at one time for Bible study. The church becomes the mosque. Amy Meck picked this out. More propaganda and conquest. Imam struts through a Christian church while the cross hangs behind him. It's a deliberate smack in the face to Christians. He's not hiding it, he's selling it. They feature the conquest as the selling point for donors. Empty Christian pews, full Islamic prayer hall. The cross is still there for now, so the whole Ummah can watch it get replaced. It's not community, this is the pattern. By the church, erase the gospel, plant the crescent, call it charity, and let's drop the polite fiction about respect for Jesus. Islam's Jesus is not the Jesus of the Bible. He's a tool used to attack Christianity. We were warned. Gerald Wilders.
Look at New York City, where the newly elected mayor, Zohran Mamdani, took his oath on the Quran, the book of hate. They want to erase your history so they can replace it with theirs. They want to take down your statues, rename your streets, and put up their crescents. They want you to be a stranger in your own land of birth. They want you to apologize for being American. The 7 lights, unfortunately, almost have all gone out in Europe. And I'm sure you don't want it to happen in America too. But do not think that you are safe. You already had 9/11. The United States today are the next on the menu of the crocodile. Islam has already arrived on your shores, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. The lights of freedom, safety, identity, prosperity, integrity, and justice are under attack here too. Look at Minnesota, where Somalis are taken over and have elected Ilhan Omar to the US Congress. She sneers at the country that gave her refuge and a passport and brags about advancing a Somalia interest in Congress. Look at Dearborn, Michigan, the first Islamic majority city in the US, where Mayor Abdullah Hammoud told a non-Islamic citizen of a city who objected to naming a street in honor of a jihadist, he said to him, "You are an Islamophobe. Move out of here." Look at New York City, where the newly elected mayor.
So that mayor, wanted to show you Mamdani. Very interesting. This video clip will show you how it looks similar in what he states and what Khomeini was stating back in the day.
Mamdani is the mini Ayatollah.
The mini Ayatollah is what they call him.
Watch this.
We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants and use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who needs it.
Don't think that we're just building homes. This is Ayatollah that I'm reading from. We're making water and electricity free for those in need.
To eliminate the fare on every single bus line.
We're making buses free for those in need.
Make our city one where every person who calls it home can live a dignified life.
We're bringing you to true human dignity. It's like they just take the same playbook, right? They sit down with Satan. Satan gives them the plan, their demons that they belong to, and all of it is just regurgitated over and over again.
Yes, ma'am. You know, it's been unprecedented. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I have so many friends reaching out, telling me that they've gone to church for the first time in years, or friends I've really worked on and tried to get to come around and just, haven't been able to. And, like President Trump said just a few hours ago, if you have a country without God, it's not going to go too well, and it's not going to be much of a country. So I think this has been a massive revival for Gen Z.
So there's a claim that Gen Z men are returning to church in surprising numbers. I'm seeing Gen Z, especially quite a bit, that are meeting in homes. I happen to follow a YouTube channel that actually interviews the golfers, PGA Tour golfers, and others. They deal with help golfers who are Christians. Saw Bernhard Langer was just interviewed the other day, Scotty Scheffler, some others. So I see that happening across the board as more and more folks are starting to find out who Christ is and how their emptiness can be filled with the gospel and with the Holy Spirit. And so I wanted to read this verse too that's on the screen. Foreigners who live in your land will gain more and more power while you gradually lose yours. They will have money to lend you, but you will have none to lend them. In the end, they will be your rulers. That's what we have to be careful about. That comes from Deuteronomy 28, verse 43 through 44. Now, President Trump dropped another image. When he dropped it, it was at 4:58 p.m. He's on the phone. Trump 2028, save America. Julie Donut saw this and said, "Isn't that interesting? 1658 military time. What is 1658 on the cue board? This is bigger than people can possibly imagine. Nothing being done? Question mark? Unprecedented and greatest military operation ever." And in the end, U.S. Department of Education reminds us, built by patriots, blessed by the sky, patriotic summer.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you again, thanking you for how you continue to guide and direct our thoughts and how we're learning more and more through so many that are working together to get information out, to wake up the masses, to how the enemy has been operating for decades, if not centuries, trying to obliterate all of us and take us out and get us away from our love for Christ and more. So we just lift up our country to you, those that are there, that we'd continue to understand and know that we can save this country through prayer, by getting down on our knees and just humbling ourselves and making it known to you boldly before your throne that we need help. We ask that those leaders that are put in charge would make the right decisions, and moving forward, we'd watch the enemy get taken out finally, and we would all learn a great lesson and teach our children and our children's children to never go in the direction of what we've done in taking the Bible out of our schools in prayer. We ask your forgiveness for that. We bring this before you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. Again, we're going to have an amazing week, I think, and it's just so many memes dropped on yesterday from President Trump just leads us to believe big things are coming. We thank you for your prayers for this channel and moving forward. So much going on, and we definitely cherish those prayers. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.
Now I'm going to do it again. Thank you. I'm going to do it. Should be easy. I'm getting very good at running for president. No, I won 3 times, did very well the second time, by the way. It's a rigged election, but we don't have to talk about it.
What we saw in the release of the records, which I'm afraid, I think, in the media or legacy media, there was kind of a willful blindness. They didn't want to look at the records. All you had to do was spend a couple of hours. I found these records, which are talking about blackmail by China. It was for President Biden.